Another day, another dollar. Thank the Lord for another 24. God, I knew that was you. Home workout. Just finishing up with the home workout at the crib, man. Got it in calisthenics, some dumbbell exercises in just to get the blood moving, man. You know how I do. When I don't hit the gym, I work out at the crib, man. Ain't no excuses. 7-day grind till it's time to shine. Quick video though, correctional officer video. We talking about a special topic on this video. We talking about dealing with family members or people that you may know, friends that are incarcerated at the prison or jail that you work at. You know, you may run into this. I've ran into it a few times in my 12-year career working in corrections. You know, let me see. When I worked at the county jail for 2 years, when I first started working in corrections, there was a girl I went to college with. I played football. She was a cheerleader. I think she got locked up for getting into a fight at the club. She was locked up there. There were a couple people that I knew that I went to college with. They got locked up. I think they were selling weed. They were selling weed on campus. They got locked up. They was there for a little while. Let me see who else. There was a dude when I got on with the federal prison. At this time, I was at my last federal prison in West Virginia. There was a dude I grew up with in the same neighborhood. You know, we grew up in the same neighborhood. We went to the same Boys and Girls Club, played on the same Little League football team, you know, stayed in the same neighborhood. He was locked up at the prison I was at the time for, I think he had got locked up for bank robbery. He was doing 15 years for bank robbery. He was like 2 years younger than me. You know, this is the thing. When you run into people that you know from the street, when you inside, you have to remain professional. You know, you have to do your job. If it's going to be a problem, you think it's going to create an issue, you need to address the situation. You need to document that and let somebody know. You know, me personally, I never ran into any issues with these people. You know, while I was locking up, they never came to me asking for any special favors, you know, stuff like that, just because I knew them or they were like a friend or family. If it came to that, you know, I would document it. Or before it even came to that, I would address the situation head on. You know, I might pull them to the side and be like, look, check this out, man. You know, this is how I make my money. This is my job right here. I got a job to do. I can't be jeopardizing my job, you know, just because I know you from the street. You know, we may have kicked it, hung out together. You may be family. But at the end of the day, I still got to do a job in here. You have to understand that. I can't let you jeopardize my livelihood or possibly compromise me, you know, and jeopardize me losing my job for something silly or something foolish, you know. So if I had to do that, then that's what it was. But the main thing you got to remember, at all times, you must remain professional when you're doing your job, and you got to stick to the policy and the procedure. The policy and procedure usually says if you know somebody, you know, you're supposed to let your upper management, your supervisor, somebody know, especially if you think it's going to be a problem. You know, you think this person may come up to you, pull you to the side and try to get you to ask you a special favor, you know, try to potentially compromise you. I've seen situations where people knew somebody, you know, from the street and they were incarcerated at the prison that they worked at, and that person ended up getting shipped to a whole nother prison. You know, it's just a precaution. You know, you don't want to get compromised. Like I said, this person could possibly come up to you and be like, hey, man, you my dog. I thought you was my dog. You my homie. We like fam. I've been knowing you since you was a kid. You know, won't you bring this cell phone in to me? Bring some drugs in or something like that. You know, no, sir. I'm not going for it. I can't have nobody jeopardizing how I put food on my table. You know what I'm saying? I got a job to do. It's nothing personal, you know. They may get out of prison and you may see them, you know, like I said, they may be your family. You could possibly see them at the family reunion, stuff like that. I know, too, you got to be cautious and mindful of this, too. At least where I'm at, the Bureau of Prisons, if you know somebody or somebody was locked up at the prison you were at, even if you don't know them, and they get out of prison, there's a grace period. I want to say it's like a year. I'm not sure. I could get the exact date and time, but it has to be a year or more before you can associate with that person. You can't even associate with that person if you still employed as a correctional officer for the Bureau of Prisons. So if you're coming on to the feds, the Bureau of Prisons, you have to be mindful of the people that, you associating with outside of work. It's just a safety precaution. That's their policy. I'm trying to stick to the policy and the procedure at the end of the day. Rules is the rules. I'm not trying to break no rules, and I'm not trying to potentially jeopardize my job, just because I wanted to hang out with somebody on the street, man. It's a time and a place for everything. You bound to run in, if you work this job long enough, you bound to run in to somebody that from the street, and there's been situations where when I worked at the county jail, especially because you got to think, when you work the county jail, majority of the people that are locked up at that jail or that state prison, they're probably from the local area. So there's been times where I've ran into people just out and about. I'm not at work. I may be in the mall, be in a restaurant. There was a dude, I went into Wendy's or somewhere to order some food. He was working in the back. And I'm sitting there ordering my food, right? And I hear somebody from the back say, "Yo, Smoot." I couldn't see at first. I'm looking like saying, "Who the hell?" And he came up. I didn't even know who they was. They knew me though. I couldn't remember. But they was like, "You still at the federal prison?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm still there, yeah." He chopped it up. We chopped it up for a hot little second while I was waiting on my food. And he went back in the back. There was another time I ran into some people that was locked up at the jail I worked at, and I was in the mall at the time and whatnot. And they came up to me, they were cool, they was like, "Man, you still at the jail? I see you doing your thing, stuff, man," like that. We was just chopping it up for a hot little second, and I kept it moving. You have to be mindful of that, man, especially working in this job, because it could potentially be the opposite of that. You may have an inmate that was incarcerated at the jail or the prison you at, man. Y'all may have had some smoke or some words, like that, got into an altercation, and they see you on the street. So you got to be mindful when you out in your surroundings. You don't want nobody to come up to you, yeah, what was that you was saying in the prison, man? You was going to do this and that, talking, up in your face, man, creating a hostile situation. You may want to invest in purchasing a firearm. As law enforcement, most of us, we can concealed carry on our credentials. You just have to have your credentials on you, or you can get a concealed carry permit. Like I said, I never ran into any problems with former inmates that I seen on the street, knock on wood. But yeah, that's how I'm trying to keep it, man. If I do ever encounter ex-inmates, people, I just want it to be cool, cordial. They may be like, "Hey, what's good with you, man? You still at the prison? This and that, and keep it moving." That's all I'm on. If family members, they get locked up, and they get out, I wish them nothing but the best, But while they in there, I have to do my job. I have to treat them the same. I have to treat everybody fair. Treat all of the inmates the same. Give them what they got coming, man. Don't try to show favoritism to a certain inmate over another group of inmates. You got to treat them all the same. You got to be down the line, walk a straight line. And like I say, fair, firm, and consistent, and treat them with respect. That's the number one rule when you working inside of a prison. When you working as a correctional officer, prison staff, you have to show respect to get respect. You can't be in there, just because you got this badge on now. You think you Billy Badass, you Cowboy Bebop, Clint Eastwood, this and that. You could talk to the inmates any kind of way you want, disrespect them, calling them out their names, harassing them. You done pat searched them. Now 10 minutes later, you done pat search the same inmate again. Unless you got some kind of suspicion that he may have some contraband on him or something like that. But if you doing stuff unnecessarily, tearing up their cell, going in there, destroying the shit, you go in their cell, rifling through everything, throwing books on the floor, fucking they shit up, man, that's uncalled for. It's unnecessary, man. You creating a hostile work environment, man. You could think of it like this. You could potentially be putting your coworker that may be coming on to relieve you in a dangerous situation. I've seen that where inmates, man, they got smoke, they got static, man, they get fed up with a CO, that's on their shift, and they may not even lash out, try to attack, assault that CO, that staff member. I've seen it where they say, man, whoever coming on the next shift, they getting it. They finna get it, man. I'm tired of this shit. I'm finna motherfucking get this knife and put some work in. And then your fellow officer, it didn't even have nothing to do with them. They come onto the shift, as soon as they get there or halfway through the shift, that inmate lash out on them. All because of something you did, all because of something that could have been avoided, man. You have to learn how to keep your composure, and you have to learn how to remain professional at all times. You can't let the inmates get in your head. You can't let them, get you fired up. When you working in corrections, there's going to be situations where the inmate may cuss you out, call you something, that's not your name, call you a bitch, something like that. You have to remain professional. They may come back the next day and be like, I wasn't in my right mind, apologize, CEO, for calling you and saying what I said. I was just going through some stuff, this and that. I've had them situations, man, where I had some words where the inmate had some smoke, had some static on the unit, and they came back, a day, a week, later. When they seen me again, they was, I just want to apologize for my actions. I understand prison's going to be prison. We all going through some shit. The inmates in there, they going through shit. They may be fighting for their life. They going to trial. They may be locked up. Family members dying. They can't go to the funeral, stuff like that. I understand, man. I understand. But at the end of the day, like I said, I got a job to do. I have to remain professional, and I have to enforce the rules and treat everybody the same, man. No matter if I know the person, it could be my own brother, my mom or uncle or somebody, man. They get in there, they know I'm gonna address the situation. I got a job to do at the end of the day, man. It's unfortunate that you got locked up. I don't know the whole situation. I may know the whole situation. Somebody in my family may have told me if it's a family member that got locked up. But I gotta address the situation head on, and let them know it. Man, I'm here to do a job. This is how I make my money. I can't jeopardize that just for you, just because I know you from the street. We could have grew up together, man. I'm still gonna do my job. I'm not gonna treat you any differently than everybody that's locked up there while you in there. You know what I'm saying? That's how you do that. That's how you do this shit, man, when it comes to knowing people. Like I said, I've never had no problems in my 12 years working in corrections, man, as far as knowing people. And I intend to keep it that way. I'm going to do the same thing I've been doing. I'm going to keep showing up to work, keep doing my job to the best of my ability, following the policy. When I'm on the unit with the inmates, they know. I set the ground rule. I tell them. They already know how I operate. I'm like this, man. As long as y'all ain't in here fighting each other, trying to stab each other, kill each other, smoking dope, high off of drugs, K2, drinking alcohol, trying to hurt themselves, committing suicide, stuff like that, I'm going to leave y'all alone. I'm not going to bother y'all. I'm just going to do my rounds. I may search some stuff periodically, do some random cell searches, and I'm going to come right back in the office and I'm going to sit down till it's time to do my next round. That's how I operate. I let the unit run itself. When it starts to get out of order or it starts to become chaotic, I have to get up and down. Don't make me do my job. I tell them, don't make me, a good correctional officer will let them know, man. Don't make me have to do my job. But I know y'all doing time. Prison's going to be prison at the end of the day. I'm not going to catch everything. You're not, as a correctional officer on the unit, you 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, you outnumbered at all times. Like, for instance, the unit I've been working on the past 4 years now, there's like 100, last time I worked, it's 110 inmates and just me, one officer. I'm not going to catch everything. You could be walking in circles the whole shift. I'm talking about nonstop, and you still have missed stuff, man. They're going to do, an inmate's going to be an inmate, man. They in jail, they're going to do stuff. When you do catch stuff, you got to do your job. You have to, write them up, do what you got to do. But you're not going to catch everything. You got to let the shit run itself. I let the shit run itself, And I love them. I let prison be prison at the end of the day, man. That's how I came into it. That's how I've been doing it. Everybody has their own different style, of being a correctional officer. You got to find your flow, and you got to find what works best for you. That's what works for me. As long as I'm doing my job, enforcing the rules and following the policy and procedure, then I'm cool. I just do my time, my hours, and I go home. I leave the job at work. I don't take the job home with me. You can't take this job. It's already stressful enough working in that type of environment in a prison or a jail, because you constantly have to be on alert. You constantly got to be looking over your shoulder, because you don't know, it could pop off any second. You just don't know what's going to happen, man. You may come in thinking it's going to be a routine, chill day, which 99% of the time, prison is like the same structure, routine every day. But then you got that 1% where you don't know, man, shit just goes all to hell. You may have a riot. You got an inmate trying to stab another inmate, killing them, fights, suicides, medical emergency. The inmate had a heart attack in the shower. You got to do CPR, a natural disaster, goddamn hurricane, tornado blow through the prison and knock the fence down. So you gotta go off of the routine procedure and lock the whole prison down. You just don't know what kind of staff assault, a staff member, your coworker getting stabbed, getting assaulted. It's just, you have to constantly be on alert, man, and constantly think of all the different scenarios, the what ifs. I find myself when I'm out in the street, man, it's like I do certain things now just from working in the prison. When I go to restaurants and eat, I don't like to sit with my back facing away from the entrance. I try to make sure I'm facing so I can see who's coming in, who's going. I'm not paranoid or anything. It just teaches, but working in a prison, it's taught me, just to be more aware of my surroundings, when I'm out and about, because that's just the nature of the beast, but you got to learn how to turn it off too, man. Don't be out here in public, carrying your badge off duty, unless you you work in a county jail where you're like a sheriff and a correctional officer. Both you do both jobs. Don't be out here, trying to arrest people, out here doing some crazy shit, searching citizens out in the mall, some crazy shit. I just try to live a normal life outside of work, and like I say, I leave it there. But yeah, at the end of the day, man, when you know people that's locked up, man, you got to treat them the same. Still do your job, be fair, firm, and consistent, and stick to the policy and procedure. You can't go wrong. Y'all like this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel at The Ghetto Bodybuilder. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok at The Ghetto Bodybuilder. I have merchandise for sale. Shop with me on my website, www.theghettobodybuilder.com. Every t-shirt, hoodie you see on my website, I personally created and came up with the logos and designs and captions myself. Anytime you purchase some merchandise from me, you personally supporting my creativity, my vision, putting my thoughts onto a hoodie or a t-shirt, man. But yeah, that's how you deal with people you may encounter in the prison or the jail you work at that you knew from the street, man. They could be college classmate, high school classmate, family, anybody, man. Just do your job at the end of the day. Be fair, firm, and consistent, and follow the policy. Y'all know how we coming. Let's get motivated.